Hey guys, Infidel 1258 here. Tonight I'm going to share with you a clip from a recent live event where we talk about my story of how I got into crypto, why I got into crypto, and then how that led into Splinterlands and really my confidence and grew my confidence within this amazing blockchain-based video game. This is between me, Jim Morgan, and my members. If you want to be present during these live events, which happen every Thursday night on my YouTube channel, consider joining my membership page on the YouTube. Pick your favorite tier, and you're going to be invited to some or all of these events on a weekly basis. Thank you guys for your time and attention. Have an amazing day. God bless. Hey guys, Infidel 1258 here with Jim Morgan. How you guys doing tonight?
Yo.
Alec, Days. Good to see you guys. Thanks for always coming, Days. You too, Alec. You're a regular, man. I appreciate that for real. And I love that you came in with the question right off the bat, so we can get into something with meat on the bones. But Alec, since you're here, man, I want to get that. That's a great, thank you for sharing your curiosity there. And I can tell you, it says, hey Dwayne, great to see you once again. I was wondering if you could please deep dive into how you previously dollar cost averaged your way into the game years ago. And were you simply buying cards to improve your deck, or were you also buying DEC to have stake in the game? And are you still buying cards and dollar cost averaging your way into with fiat currency? And if so, what are you doing? And so I think this is super important to answer, because I actually think it's really important. As somebody who is constantly talking about Splinterlands, I think from my own, what's the word? I guess from my own sense of, I'm not sure what the word I'm looking for is, but I think it's really important that I be really clear about my interest in the game and my investment strategy with the game, and even later on at some point in the future, my exit strategy. So I want to be transparent. That's what I'm trying to say. Because I think it's super important that if I'm going to talk about this thing for literally an hour a day and share those videos with thousands of people, I really don't want to be surprising people with like, oh yeah, by the way, like I'm sick of that game, or by the way, I sold all my assets in that game. So I love that you asked the question, Alec, because I think it was a pretty interesting story also, because it didn't happen all at once. It was like, it started with crypto. And in 2008, I got married. And 2008 is when, I don't know how old you guys are, but that's when the financial crisis happened. And that's when there was like a crazy meltdown in real estate in America, but also in the global, like the banking sector, and even like the stock market, the major indices. It was a massive, massive fall. And I had a job at an insurance company where I was getting paid in stocks as part of my compensation package. And my stocks went from $35 a share to $4 a share. And so I didn't understand finance very much at that time in my life, but that grabbed my attention, as you might imagine. And so then I started exploring it, and I found an amazing video on YouTube, which was called Quantitative Easing Explained. Quantitative easing is an economic phrase or action that means the government prints money to flood the markets with money so that banks feel comfortable lending money. That's basically the gist of it. And even though it's just freshly printed money and it came out of thin air, it actually has the effect of banks being more generous with their because it changes their balance sheet. At one moment they have all these assets they have very few assets, and they have all these debts. Debts are bigger. And then tomorrow government says, oh no, don't worry about that. Like, we'll just raise your asset sheet. And now you've got way more money. And so QE was part of what happened, and derivatives. And this is all maybe too complicated for some of you guys. Maybe you don't care about that stuff, but it was super important to me, because I began to understand that fiat currency was totally useless, meritless, and like objectively on a path to failure. As far as I'm concerned, it's not subjective. It's not up for debate. It's a matter of fact, in my opinion. And I began to recognize that then. So that pushed me to take all of my worldly investments. I had like $25,000, $30,000, which to me at the time was a lot of money, put away into RSPs. I cashed it every penny out. And I was like, okay, Bitcoin's for real. I get it now. This wasn't overnight. It was like I spent weeks and weeks and even maybe months deep diving into crypto and Bitcoin specifically. And then that led to, okay, I'm doing it. Everyone thought it was crazy. My wife thought it was crazy. The bank people were like, I don't think you can do this. And I'm like, no, it's my money. I can do this. And I remember I had to like convince people that this was okay, but it's my money. So I did that. And then I rode Bitcoin and crypto into really dizzying heights and then, but didn't sell. And I watched it collapse down below me, in front of me. And I went from, say, 30,000 Canadian dollars after taxes was probably 15 grand, put it into crypto, and watched it go to 60 grand down to 5 grand. And so it was this massive roller coaster ride. And at the end of that, I was not at all concerned about crypto. I wasn't left with like a bad taste or a nervousness about crypto. I was still firmly confident because of all the things I previously explained. I felt fiat currency was doomed to failure because of the necessary, like what they do constantly, the printing of it and the insider, back scratching and whatnot. And so I was like, I want to be in this crypto space, but I didn't want to be in Bitcoin then. I didn't want to be in any crypto then. I had recently discovered this game, and I was like understanding that there was only so many cards, and like I say all the time, they're going to be reducing in number, and the player base grows. That's the recipe for success. And so I began to move that 5 grand that was left into this. And at that time, DEC was really, really low. It was below the peg value. You could get 1,000 DEC for 65 US cents. So I would move some of my steam, which I was earning from blogging and which I had accumulated from that investment, that initial investment, I was moving it into DEC for the sole purpose of buying Untamed packs. And in that way, I was getting a 35% discount on my Untamed packs. And so because I'm spending 65 cents to get $1 worth of DEC, and then I'm going to Splinterlands with that and using it with them at peg value, which is 1,000 to $1. And so I was saving 35%, and I was doing that repeatedly, because by this point I'm convinced this game's for real, the opportunity is life changing, and also blockchain's amazing. So let's go. And I was still across the 4 years or 3 or 4 years or whatever that had been, I was still investing. Like I was never shaken. I was disappointed I didn't sell at the top, but I was never shaken that that Bitcoin was dead, that blockchain was dead. I was always convinced that this was a bear market. That was a bear market. And if I just kept dollar cost averaging a couple $100 a month, every month, and I did, into crypto, into Splinterlands, I would buy packs for a lot of those months. That things would turn around one time, and I knew it would, and I was confident it would. And again, I think this will happen in 4 years again. I think in the next year or so, we're going to be in a firm bear market. And if you guys are with me during that time, I hope you'll hear me when I say opportunity, opportunity, opportunity. Pack the bags, get ready for the mission, and next time when Bitcoin goes for a wild new run onto, and remember, it sounds really easy to believe it now, but there's going to come a time where 2 or 3 years of Bitcoin down at $15,000 or $20,000 or something that seems unattainable now. It's going to seem so broken. It's going to seem so dead. You're going to hear everyone saying it's over. Bitcoin was a scam, and that's where I'll be saying, and that's where I'll be buying with my own money more and more and more crypto assets. And so right this moment, I'm not dollar cost averaging in. I am making certain trades within the game where something has appreciated to new highs, and I'll roll that over into a different asset. Like I said to you guys so many times that you should do. And that's just a recalibration of what I've got here. But mostly it's just holding steady and just waiting for the what I think is probably a blow off top for altcoins, which I think will affect us, but I can't be sure. And if it does affect us, maybe then there'll be I'll have another ongoing conversation with you about, okay, like if my assets right now are 100 grand and they go to 1 million in the next few months, I don't think that's going to happen. But if that somehow happened, we're probably going to do some live events where I'm like, okay, guys, like this is crazy. I'm going to take some off the top. And here's what I'm doing, because I want to be, like I say, transparent with you guys so that you see where what I'm seeing. And that might not happen now. Maybe that is 4 years away, but I'm so confident that is going to come, that I will dollar cost average, just not right now because I don't know what's happening. I feel uncertain. I want to see Bitcoin go down to like 15 or 20,000, and then everyone's talking about how crypto is dead, and then I'm going to be buying in every month. Jim, I'd like to hear what you think about that. And if you have any feedback or maybe even criticism about maybe what I've just said there.
Yeah, let's not hope that it goes down to 15, 20,000. That'd be great.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be nice?
But I completely understand.
Yeah.
And yeah, like the one thing about dollar cost averaging is like you're never going to find the bottom, right? You know, there's so many people that wait and wait and wait. It's like, oh, it's already really low. I bet it's going to go down even more.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next day it goes up like 5%, and then it goes up higher. And then they're like, oh, dang it, I should have bought.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, but you can also still buy when it's like 10% even higher
Yeah.
than its other low that you saw.
Mm-hmm.
And you're still going to be fine over time.
Yes.
You know? And who knows, maybe next time you buy it, it's back at that low cost again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And just being okay with that, like understanding, actually giving yourself a lot of grace around the fact that I'm not going to call the bottom. And what would it look like to just make slow progress into a bigger and bigger position within a thing? Forget about Splinterlands for a second. To invest within a sphere or within a company or within a game or within a blockchain that I just feel really confident within, and I feel that they have a high level of competency. What would it look like to just keep, pushing chips in until you felt that it started to reach like a tipping point? Because I think we would all agree that a good game, a really excellent game, could have millions of players, and that's not, that's just a fact. Like we've seen lots of great games that exist now, and they have millions of players. Hearthstone is an example, and Hearthstone is a lot like Splinterlands in my opinion. It seems conceivable to me that we could have millions of players, and I don't mean millions of bots. I mean millions of players, and if that's possible. And again, everybody needs to kind of explore that, the likelihood of that for themselves. But I figure it's really possible and in fact probable. And if that is so, that has an implication for what I said earlier, which is this game has limited supplied assets, and a growing player base means a perfect combination for like price appreciation. And so that's my thesis on this thing. And that's why I've been over the years so confidently pushing chips into the game. And it's why I continue to reinvest within the game. Even when I do sell an asset, I typically just put it into another smaller, less appreciated asset within the same game. And why I will buy more within this game as I start to feel like this is truly a bear market. Great question, dude.